Okay, so we're gonna start with warm up like we have been doing. So if you need a pen and paper, go ahead and grab one real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and present my screen. There's 4 questions today, 2 sentence corrections like we have been doing, and then 2 extra questions that I don't know where they are right now, but we'll find out. So here we go. So our first sentence, why do I have to do my homework now? Complained Tori. And the second one, it's best to get your work done before you play video games, said Dad. And then for 3 and 4, you're going to write the contraction, which is with an apostrophe. So the contraction for it's, or it is it's. So how do you combine the words will not? And how do you combine the words cannot with an apostrophe? So I'm going to turn on some music. This song is about 3 minutes long, so I'm going to give you guys until this song is over. Go ahead.
I don't know if they're appropriating, supplies and like spread them around a little bit, or
I don't know.
that's kind of crazy.
Okay, that was the end of that song. Do you guys need a little bit more time? Or are you good? We're good? All right, let's go ahead. You need more time? Okay, I'm going to do about 1 more minute then. So here you go. 1 minute, and then we're going to go over them.
Miss Jones, are you cold?
I mean, it's a little chilly in the school, yeah. But I also live in Flagstaff, so when I left this morning, it was cold in Flagstaff.
It was cold this morning, too.
Yeah.
While I was riding my bike.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily cold, but it's pretty comfortable. But they definitely have the air conditioning going in the school, so it gets a little chilly sometimes.
I bet.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and go over these ones. Just put in a little bit. The escape button doesn't work when I do that. All right. So let's go ahead and correct this. What should we do first at the beginning of a sentence?
Capitalize the W.
Capitalize the W for why. So why do I have to do my homework now? Complained Tori. Is someone talking on this?
Yes, you have to have quotation marks, and you have to fix the word do.
Good.
Because that's a different type of do than.
Put
Yeah,
the instead.
Yeah. Good. Why do, just like, why do I have to do this? Why do, I have to, is this the right do? D-U-E?
No.
Yes.
D-O.
I know.
It's not in this case. DUE means like there's a due date. You have to turn it in by a certain time. In this case, she's just asking, why do I have to do it? It's not that it is actually due at a certain time. I'm sure it is, but not in this instance.
You gotta fix homework.
Good. What's wrong with homework?
Put it together as one sentence.
Huh? Why do I have to do my homework now? Complained Tori. What should I have at the end of this sentence?
A period.
Well, if she's asking a question, what would be a better one to have put there?
A question mark.
A question mark. And then your quotes. Complained Tori. Complained is correct. What's wrong with Tori?
Capitalize it.
Good. It's her name. You got to capitalize it. Now what can I put at the end of my sentence?
A period.
Good. And then her dad answers her. So is he talking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So we're going to use quotes again. It's best to get your work done before you play video games. I agree with her father. How should I start my sentence?
Capitalize it.
Capitalize.
Wait, wouldn't there be an apostrophe S?
It is an
I was
apostrophe.
going to say that.
Yep, this is a contraction. So if we wanted to, we could separate it to it is. But if we add a apostrophe and put the S, it's just a contraction form. So it's best to get your work done. What's wrong with your?
It's not the normal your. Your with a apostrophe in it. That's a possessed. That means it's yours or something. But when you say your Y-O-U-R, then you're not talking about ownership in it.
Good, you're on the right track there. So if we leave this as Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, that would be like, it's a contraction. So if we were to separate it, it would be you are work done. And does this make sense if I say it's best to get you are work done?
No, that's why you have to make out your.
Good. This one shows that it's their work. And it's not a contraction. So done before you play video games. All of that's correct, but what do we need after video games?
You need quotation marks.
Good. We also need something inside our quotes.
As a period.
You put a period or a comma. Whatever you'd like to do. I'm going to put a comma. And then said dad. What goes at the end of that?
Wait, you didn't capitalize dad.
You don't necessarily have to capitalize dad. Just because it's kind of a generic dad is a dad. Yeah, I know that one's a little bit confusing because it's definitely like that is my dad. But in this case, we don't need to capitalize dad. You can. It's not necessary though. All right. On the next ones, we need to write the correct contraction. So
W-O-N apostrophe T.
good. Will not.
It's
The
can't,
contraction
will,
for that
won't,
is won't.
or willn't.
Have you ever seen someone use the word willn't?
No.
No, that's good.
C-O-N apostrophe T.
Mine is an apostrophe, is a contraction word of mine is.
C-A-N apostrophe T.
Okay. Cannot goes to can't. So will not is I won't do it. I will not. I won't do it. Can't is I cannot do it. I can't do it. So there's our warm up for the day. How'd you guys do? Feeling good on that? Good. Alrighty. So today's going to be slightly different. Yesterday I asked you guys to basically come up with some arguments for your discussions, correct? You guys remember that? Did most of you guys finish that up? I hope you did. Or you at least have an idea that you can argue your point today, right? So I'm going to go to Google Classroom. I would like you guys to do it as well and open up the assignment we were working on yesterday, the speaking and listening discussion. So if you open that up, have your Word document open so that you're prepared to look at your examples. I didn't fill mine out because I didn't need to. Okay, so I'll give you about a minute. Go ahead and open up the speaking and listening discussion assignment that I gave you yesterday. Get this right. When you've got that pulled up, let me know.
I got it pulled up.
Good. Okay. And for those of you that, well, for all of you, I'm hoping that you filled out this part A, right here, where you decided your opinion on when Woodson is telling her stories. Is she lying or is she not lying? She's just using her imagination. So you should have an opinion on that. I don't need to know it yet. We're going to have a discussion about it. So you should have your opinion on if you think, yes, Woodson's totally lying because of this, this, and this. That's where your main ideas and your reasons come in. Or you're thinking, no, Woodson is not lying because of this idea, and this idea. So my hope is that you did fill out these boxes yesterday. Because today, we're going to just kind of have a discussion. We'll talk about it. We're going to have a little bit of like Google Meets etiquette where we're not talking over each other or else we're not going to be able to understand each other, right?
Wait, were we supposed to type in the main idea part too?
I can hear you.
Are we supposed to write in the main idea part?
Yeah, just the reasons that you think that, yes, she's lying or no, she's not.
Yeah, I thought.
That's all right. Do you have some ideas, though, of why you think that?
Yeah.
Okay, then you're probably good for now.
I have some
So-
ideas.
Good. We'll talk about it in just a second. So when we're doing this, it's going to be difficult to have this discussion if all of us are talking at once, right? So we're going to have to either, like, if you have your video on, maybe hand, like, raised right here so I can call on you when we're talking. Or if you'd like to be typing in the chat and say, like, I have an idea, then I can call on you then. Or you can put your opinions in the chat. So I'm not requiring you to like turn on your camera and say your opinion. I just need to see it at some point during the next like 10 minutes or so. You can type it or you can say it out loud. But before we do that, if you're looking at my screen, there's a part B on here. This is how I'm going to know that you were paying attention today during this lesson. What it wants you to do and what I would like you to do is choose one person in the class that's on the Google Meet right now. I don't care who it is. I don't even need to know who it is. But when they give their opinion of whether or not they think Woodson is lying, they need to answer these 4 questions. So let's say that I choose Dallin as the person I'm going to listen to and write down his opinion. And let's say he's like, no, she's not lying. Then I would write under what's your partner's opinion about the topic. Dallin thinks, no, she's not lying. So just a quick thing about that. And then when Dallin gives the examples of why he thinks she's not lying, I would write down his examples there. And then after that, so these are the only 2 things you need to get from one person in the class. Again, I don't care who you like choose as the person you want to use as your partner for the discussion. But after that, you need to write, do you agree with that person or do you not agree? And then did your opinion change when we were talking about whether or not we think she's lying? Did you start off as, no, she's not lying, and then change during the middle of our discussion to, yeah, maybe she is lying. These people made a good point about this. Or did it go the opposite? So during the discussion, or after, if it's better for after, you need to be answering these 4 questions. So by the end of this discussion, I'll give you about 5 minutes after. You should be able to complete this whole page and turn it in. Does this make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. What about the rest of you guys that I can't see or hear you? Are we good? Yes? No?
Dallin, can we partner up?
I don't care. Sure.
Okay. Go on a call called CHUCK.
Wait, no,
Okay.
Charlie, we're not doing it separately. We're going to talk right now as a whole group, and you just choose one person to base your answers off of.
Oh,
Yeah, so you guys aren't going to a separate discussion. We're all going to talk about it right here. You just need to answer the questions, like choose one person to answer the questions about. Okay? So during this, I'd like to hear everybody's opinion at some point, whether you type it or say it out loud. But you can use your notes that you wrote right here about, yes, this is why I think she's lying, and here's my ideas. But are you guys ready to attempt a discussion on here? We'll see how it goes. It might not go very smoothly, but we're going to do our best. Sound good? Alrighty. Anybody want to go first? Tell me their opinion and why. All right, Dallin, go for it.
I don't think she's lying because after Odella, when she got earrings, she wanted to get a gift like Odella did and make her feel important.
Okay, so you don't think her stories are lies?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Anybody else want to add to that? Charlie, go ahead.
do I say the example or the main idea?
They're kind of, you can do both. Do you think she's lying, first of all?
No, I don't think she's lying.
No? Okay, then why? This is where you would give us your main idea. Why do you not think she's lying?
Because if you think she's lying, you think you think that the story, you could think that nursery rhymes like Humpty Dumpty is a lie. Because
Okay.
that's kind of what she's doing.
So if
And-
you think that every story is a lie, then so that's where you're going with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
And can I say my example?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going if you have more.
Jack and Jill ran up the hill, my uncle saying. I went up the hill yesterday, I say. What hill? At the park. What park? Paisley Park. Who was with you? You.
All right.
I also
Sorry.
think when she says she got bit by a spider, she probably wanted to
You're
say
not
that.
allowed to go to the park without anybody. I just did. Maybe you dreamed it, my uncle said. No, I really went. My uncle likes the stories I make up.
All right. Those are some good examples. So, Charlie has the opinion that she's not lying because if you think she's lying, then every other story that's made up and fictional, yeah, would be a lie then as well. I like that idea.
Another reason I think is that when she got bit by a spider, she could, like, it would sound like she could, like she was, it could sound like she was, like, brave and didn't even care about it, and it would make it to where they would think that she's, like, super awesome and cool, and she wanted to feel very important.
Good. All right.
And Odella's way of being important is by being smart, and she wants to be important like her too.
And use her stories to do that, right? Good. What about the rest of you guys? You can type it if you'd like to, or you can unmute and tell us your opinion. What else do you guys got? Anybody else? I'll give it a second if you're typing. You know, I saw most of you guys working on it, so I know you guys have some opinions about it. Okay. And again, you don't have to say it out loud. You're more than welcome to type it out. Say your opinion and why.
What was your opinion again, Dallin?
That she was not lying.
I mean, like, example. What was one of your examples?
Let me look real quick.
Okay.
When she went to the park and she could tell people that she did it by herself without any help.
Cool. Elijah says that he does think that she's lying, so that's a different opinion than what we've had. Elijah, do you want to explain why you think that? You can either type it or unmute. It's up to you.
And the other part, do we type what the other person was thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you think she's lying because she's already got the stories in her head? Okay. I like that. So she just makes them up as she goes along.
Charlie, what are some of your examples?
I'm gonna copy and paste it in the chat, okay?
Okay.
All right. While he's doing that, anybody else want to just say in the chat, like, yes, I think she's lying. No, I think she's not. Maybe give a reason. Okay, so there's Charlie's example.
You can copy and paste it if you want.
No, can you copy and paste from this? Oh, you can. Okay. Anyone else? It's going to be a short discussion, not a lot of stuff to work with for the rest of it. And I know you guys have opinions on things. I hear you guys talk all the time. Cheyenne doesn't think she's lying. All right.
Thanks, Charlie, for that.
Welcome.
Anyone else? Or Cheyenne, if you want to say why you don't think she's lying. Liliana says she doesn't think she's lying either. All right. Any examples you guys want to give? Or anybody else that wants to chime in?
Okay, stop, please.
I have a loose tooth.
Interesting.
I got sugar donuts.
All right. Jada doesn't think she's lying. Okay. A lot of you guys seem to think that she's not lying. Interesting. Charlie, stop
Ow.
messing with your tooth. Gross. Does anybody else think that she is lying when she tells her stories?
Did Miss Jones, do you think she was lying or not lying?
I'll tell you guys at the end when we're done. I'm not gonna give you guys my opinion just yet. I'm gonna let other people chime in
Okay.
first, hopefully. This is also a really good way to know if people are actually sitting behind their blank screens when they're supposed to be participating. Because I am checking off for those who are telling me their opinion. Everything's fine. Just hit my leg. We're good. Okay, Alani thinks she is lying. There's someone else on that opposite side. Mr. Turner says, please participate. I agree.
I am.
I know. Talking about the people that got some blank screens here, it's helpful to know that you guys are behind those blank screens. I know there's some teachers that force people to turn them on. Alicia says she makes up the stories for attention. So do you think she's lying or not lying?
I just I just put this thing in the way because I like looking at it.
Okay. Okay, so Talisha thinks that she's not lying and that she's making up the stories to get some attention. Okay. Tatum thinks that she's not lying. So does Yoshi. A lot of you guys think she's not lying. I'm interested to hear why people think she is lying, or like what's some opinion, like reasons why you guys think these things.
Because she's only like a kid and she like some kids like making up stories a lot.
Okay. Kids have imaginations, right? Gotta use them.
That's one of the reasons why I asked about that.
Okay. I like that.
Another thing I put down is imagination is anything but true.
Imagination is anything but true. Okay. I like that.
And
So
you
I'm gonna-
can make up whatever you want with it, with your imagination. Like the spider, she created that. She went up the park. But I also kind of think she is kind of lying a little bit of the park part. Just
Okay.
a little bit though, but the stories are more of like,
So maybe she has stuff happen to her, right? And then when she goes and tells people, she makes it like a little bit more imaginative than really happened. Like maybe she did go to the park, but maybe there wasn't a spider, right? So do you think it could be both, that she is telling the truth but exaggerating, which could be
it could
lying?
be a mix. Yeah.
That's true. Okay. Anybody else?
I got a new alarm clock this morning.
Charlie, stay focused. We could talk about that after.
I think she's lying, but at the same time, she's not.
Okay, how so? What do you mean by that?
The stories, I think that she's lying about them, but she's only doing that to make people give her attention and to entertain them.
Okay. So the stories are to entertain people, but she also wants the attention from it?
Yeah.
Why didn't
And she,
Sorry, go ahead, sorry.
and then the spider one, I think she like describes what it looks like in her head and makes it up in her head.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's also lying at the same time. But most of me thinks that she isn't lying.
Okay.
Her
Anybody-
uncle gives her attention from the stories, I think.
That's true. Her uncle gives her positive attention, right? Like he says, like, keep doing your stories. What kind of attention does her mom give her?
Like making up stories because then you'll steal.
Yeah, hers is more of like the she believes that she's lying.
Yeah.
Good, right? So there's always
So they're both even, kind of. They're both
Kind of,
even.
Yep.
One of them is right, and the other one is right. So they're both right.
Yep. That's the thing about opinions, right? Everybody has their opinion and believes that they're right about it. But do you guys think that opinions can change? Like your opinion can go
Yes.
from this to this? Yeah.
Yeah, because
But
before
my
yes,
opinion didn't change.
mine did a little bit about the
Okay.
lying part,
Okay.
but other than that, I think it's even, like, because Uncle Robert likes her
They're still
stories,
recording.
but her mom doesn't. So
True.
it's a mix.
True. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Why they think that maybe she is or is not lying? If you want to write it in the chat, that's good. Cheyenne says, the story of Gifted. Everyone knows my sister is brilliant. The letters come home. Official looking envelopes my sister proudly hands over to her mother and Della is looking at it. So let me go back up. Cheyenne says,
Not if she's making up stories or not making up stories.
yeah, so Cheyenne thinks that she's not lying because she's telling the truth about her sister getting all of that praise and stuff, right? So it's not a made up story. Yeah, that's a good point, Mr. Turner. Is like look for a motive in the story. Are she telling the story just for fun? Or is she telling the story so that someone can get something out of it? Or is she getting something out of the story? As in the poems.
I think she's telling a story that way her siblings can tell their friends and stuff that happened to her sister or something like that,
Okay.
and she did that by herself or something like that.
All right. Anybody else? No? We're gonna do about 5 more minutes of this, so if anybody else has their opinions, now's the time. Remember, I'd like to at least hear your opinion, whether you're typing it or saying it out loud. Is she lying? Is she not? Is she writing the story for fun, or is there a purpose to her stories?
I think her telling the stories and it being like true and not true at the same time, because she's telling different ones. I think that she's good unless she takes it too far.
Okay. Where do you think that point is? When would she take it too far?
Well, it depends on how bizarre her imagination is.
That's true. So if something gets a little bit too crazy, you're like, maybe you're lying a little too much here.
Yeah.
Okay. But she can
Another,
go ahead, Johnny.
I think that she makes up different stories to make it to where people don't get used to hearing a story in their head and they can think of different stories that she said.
Okay. That's true. Do you think that telling different versions of the same story is lying?
No.
No?
Wait, yes.
You're just making it in a different perspective way, sort of.
To
That's
make it
also lying.
Okay.
to make it sound different
Mm-hmm.
from the first story you told.
I'm
Like
gonna put another example in the chat, okay?
like when she says this is a part when she was lying. When she saw so whenever she saw somebody and they'd ask about her dad, she would make up make up lies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of is both because you make it up and then you say it and then it becomes one. Because you use your imagination to make the story and then you tell it and it's a lie.
Okay. I like that.
So most of the story part is in her imagination, but then the other lying part is when she tells it.
Okay. I like that. So, what would be the difference you think between? So she says her stories out loud, right? When she was a child, she would say her stories out loud, right? But now that she's an adult, she writes them down as poems and turns them into.
Eh,
So, do you think that she was lying as a kid and now she's lying as an adult too, or had it changed as she got older, or any of that?
I think in the story she just made it entertaining by when she said she used to make up stories.
Okay.
And she probably did do that and remembers all that, but I think she added a little bit more into it. So
When she
it's
wrote
kind
it
of
down.
is the same as it was when she was like a kid.
Okay. Any other opinions?
I also think that she's still probably the same as when she was a kid telling stories and stuff.
Probably. People don't change that much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other ideas?
My opinion's the same as Dowland's.
Yeah, that's good.
But also for the poet part, and when kids read it, she wants it to be entertaining and interesting and make it fun to read. That way they don't get tired of reading something. And like the different poems that she made, like Gifted, Brooklyn Rain, and all that stuff, I think she did that to make it to where they read different stories about her life and split it up into different parts. That way you don't have to write it up in one whole thing, and you can make it more interesting and make it to where it's like the Gifted one, it'll be like that part. It'll be based on Gifted and stuff.
Okay.
And then in the Uncle Robert, it talks about Uncle Robert and what they did. In Brooklyn Rain, they talk about what it's like in Brooklyn.
I like that.
So she has, instead of putting it all together, she puts it in different sections. That way it makes it easier to read instead of just read it one whole paragraph.
That's true. So instead of just one really, really long story, we have different sections, right?
Yeah, that way you don't get as tired
That's
reading.
true. I like those ideas. Anyone else? Maybe, like Mr. Turner said, some people that haven't posted yet, you can type it in the chat. You can unmute. What are your guys' opinions? Do you think she's lying? Or do you think she's not lying? She's just using her imagination. I've heard from quite a few of you guys, but there's a couple of you guys that we haven't heard from just yet. Can you think that she's lying and not lying? I think that's a good point. Yeah, I think you can. Do you want to explain that a little bit more? How you think that it could be both? You can type it if you'd like to.
I also think that a lot of people like to make up stories like how she does, and I think everybody does that,
Mm-hmm.
like what
I
she
think
does.
most people do too. We've all got some sort of imagination here, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Yep.
Or else there's
Like
something wrong.
fiction stories, those are basically all made up,
That's true.
but also
That's-
very
that's-
entertaining.
That's a point that Charlie made earlier too. That if we think that she's lying when she makes up stories, does that mean that we think that any other story that's ever been told is a lie as well?
No, like fiction stories, that wasn't fiction. She was trying to make something fiction like that to make it sound fun for
Mhm.
like Humpty Dumpty and Jack and Jill.
Mhm.
It makes it fun to read and makes it to where a lot of people want to read it and makes their things popular.
I think all of it actually happened.
You think it all actually happened? All right. But for sure not lying then.
But it is biopoetry. And she could be like rhyming, like make up story, like sentences in it that could have not happened.
That's true.
So
Because if someone else wrote it, then I would think like some of it's not true because they don't exactly know what happened. But she wrote it, so I'm pretty sure all of it is true because she knows what happened because she has first point of view.
That's true. It is told from first person point of view. I like
but you
that.
never know if she's lying or making up stories. I think it's both though.
Okay.
It could be.
All right. Well, I think we should. Oh, Lauren said something. She's still a child, so her imagination is wild. And then when Odella got earrings for her grades in school, she said she got diamonds every time she gets hundreds on tests. Okay, so I get what you mean. So, she does have a bit of a wild imagination, right? She thinks when one thing happens, she kind of takes it a little bit farther. So she is telling the truth, but exaggerates it a little bit. I like that, Lauren. All
What's
right.
your opinion?
Mine? Okay, well, oh, it's just a bell. I don't know, it kind of changed a lot when you guys were talking because I initially was kind of like, no, she's not lying, because she's telling stories, and we don't really consider like a fiction book that is about dragons a lie, do we? Like, we just think it's a made up story and it's fun. So my initial thought was, no, she's not lying, but you guys made some good points about how she could be lying, like just exaggerating the truth to get that attention that she kind of wants as a child. So
A lie is like if your parent asked you if you stole like one of their phone to play with it, and then like you told them no, even though that you did. That's a lie. Stories aren't really lies.
all right.
It's true and not
And
true.
Miss
Like,
Jones,
entertainment and not entertainment.
I think when we do stuff like this, I think it makes it help us to where we can think a little bit deeper and give more examples and stuff, and it helps us like just think.
Yep.
Because
I
at
agree.
first I was just like I just thought that, but talking with everybody about it and all this, I think it would be pretty good because you can help your classmates think I thought it was just not lying, but I can also see why she could be lying from talking to different
Right.
ideas and stuff.
Yeah, I really like doing discussions like this too because I think it's important that you guys have discussions and you're able to talk to each other about your ideas, and then maybe your idea of something changes because another student in the class says something and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense too. So as we do more and more with this reading series and stuff, we'll do more discussions like this, and then hopefully one day. But hopefully maybe one day we can like actually do this in person where you'll talk with a partner, get some ideas out first and write down some new ideas, and then we'll have like a full group discussion. But that was really difficult to try and do on this. Even a full group discussion on here is a little bit hard to do, but when we're in class it's a little bit easier when we're in person. So hopefully in the second semester we'll be able to do some more things like this where we talk about the stories we've read and our opinions and all of that, because I like things like this. I think some of you guys do, some of you guys don't. It depends on if you like to talk to people or not, because I know some of us are
I
introverts
like
versus
talking to people about how I rollerblade and stuff. I like getting attention. I like getting attention through rollerblading. Like, and people go like, "Whoa!" Because I'm really good at rollerblading. And I can go up all the ramps, but not down all the ramps. I can only not go down one of the ramps.
That's cool. Yeah, so things like this we'll hopefully do more and more. Hopefully not over Google Meets after we get back in person. But I'm going to share my screen just for those of you guys that joined a little bit late and explain what I need you guys to do to finish out this assignment. So on the the Google Doc that we were doing yesterday, you guys could have hopefully filled out this section that was about your opinion and then your 3 ideas of why you thought that way and some examples as well. And then today during the discussion, we had a lot of people share their opinions and why we thought that way. So you can choose one person, because we didn't have a partner per se, but you can choose one person that gave their opinion. You're going to write down what their opinion was at the beginning, and then you'll write down some examples that they gave during the discussion about why they thought that way. And then you're going to say, yes, I agreed with that, what they said, or no, I didn't agree, and you can give me a reason why. And then on that last one, did your opinion change at all during the discussion? Did you start with the, yes, she was lying and change to, no, she's not? Or did it go from, no, she's not lying to, yeah, she is? Or, like some of you guys discovered, did you kind of go from, no, she's not lying to, you know, I can kind of see both sides. So I just want you to explain how this discussion helped you change your mind, or did it stay the same? And then once you filled out this paper, you can turn it in, and I'm going to grade it over the weekend, not today. But I'd like you guys to have this done by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Sound good? Does it make sense? Any questions about what you need to do on that part? No questions?
Do I turn it in if I'm done?
Yeah, if you finish that Google Doc, you're more than welcome to turn it in. Let's see. I think we'll save what we were going to do at the end of this just for tomorrow. We'll do it real quick, and then I'm going to explain stuff tomorrow. But for those of you that haven't necessarily kept up with the Brown Girl Dreaming, like filling out the notebooks as we went along, all of that, like having the whole section, everything done for Brown Girl Dreaming is due on Sunday at 11:59. I have it set to where you won't be able to go back in and do it. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to check that. But it's due on Sunday. So you need to make sure you get all of those sections done. We're going to do one last one tomorrow. The very, very last one there. It'll take us 5 minutes maybe to do. And then tomorrow for ELA, your goal during that class is to go back and finish the sections that you need to. If you're done with everything, you'll be free to go. But if you're not, I'd like to keep you on so that if you have questions on it, you can work on it. So we have about 10 minutes left of class right now.